There's this quote on The Office, man, towards the end of the show. Andy Bernard, he goes off on this trip, and he comes back from it, and his girl is with somebody else now, and he decides to leave the office eventually. And before he goes, he says, "I really wish that you could know you were in the good old days while you're in the good old days." It was something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. And I really resonate with that, actually, because I've been thinking a lot about my past and what I regret. And when I think about my deepest regrets, the ones that really just crush me, all my deepest regrets are mostly that I didn't realize that I was in the good old days while I was in them. I was always so wrapped up in my own selfishness throughout my life. It was like I was there in the moment with the people that I cared about the most, but a part of me was just so wrapped up in my own inner selfishness, my own inner thoughts and emotions and feelings, that I wasn't able to really be there. I wasn't able to realize in that moment what was truly happening. And so there's a part of me which feels like I squandered a lot of some of the richest relationships in my life, because I didn't realize at the time that I was in the good old days. There was a point in my life, man, where my family, we were really happy together. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of possessions or anything, but we had a lot of joy and happiness, at least from my point of view. We had a lot of joy and happiness. And there was a point, man, where we moved to a new house. And I know now that the day that we moved was the last day, was the beginning of the end, honestly, because, some stuff unfolded. I won't get into it. It's a lot. It's really personal, but some stuff unfolded and our family sort of fragmented. We sort of lost touch with one another. And it still goes on to this day. We're all still sort of in this fragmented state. And I thought a lot about the car ride that day that we moved. We had everything packed up in the van, leaving that old trailer and moving into that apartment. And just not knowing, having no idea that I was leaving the good old days. That day, man, was the last day. It was the last day that I'd ever see my family, really happy like that. And if I could just go back to the day before that, if I could just go back to that year, I would be with my dad and my mom all the time. I would play with my brother and my sisters all the time. And I would just give up all of my selfish bullshit. And I would just be there with them and just really enjoy the moment, rather than trying to achieve something, And for the last 5 years, man, I've spent just sitting and doing meditation, trying to achieve something, trying to achieve some state of enlightenment. And I've just been missing the whole point. I feel like I've been missing the whole point. The whole point is just to be here. Every day is the good old days, man. Every day is the good old days. Every moment is the good old days. It's just, can you see it? And so when I think about awakening now, I don't think about being in some God mode enlightened state where I'm just above the world. I think about being in the world deeply and just being really here with whoever I'm here with. Because, man, I don't want to keep living my life and always looking back and regretting not being more present, not just being there, you know, and not realizing the impermanence of this situation, this life right here now. This whole meditation path that I've been on, this whole awakening path that I've been on. What does it mean to be awakened, man? It really just means to realize that this is fading, that everyone's fading, everything's dying all the time. And so to just be and just put your selfishness aside and just be here in the good old days. Because every moment is the good old days. Even if you can't see it, it's the good old days. Let me know in the comments, man. Have you thought about this yourself? Is this something that, you know, have you ever considered? What do you think it means to be awakened? What do you think it means to live life fully? You know, what's your ideas about that? But thank you so much for watching if you've watched this far in. And like I said in the last video, I'm going to have some special guests on soon. And we're going to talk about some funny shit, man. I can feel it. And I'll see you in the next episode.